अशहदु अन ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह अशहदु अन्ना मुहम्मदर रसूलुल्लाह।
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम।
शुरू अल्लाह के नाम से जो बड़ा मेहरबान निहायत रहम वाला है।
In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful.
ألف لام ميم را تلك آيات الكتاب والذي أنزل إليك من ربك الحق ولكن أكثر الناس لا يؤمنون।
अलिफ लाम मीम रा। ए मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम, ये किताब इलाही की आयतें हैं और जो तुम्हारे परवरदिगार की तरफ से तुम पर नाजिल हुआ है हक है, लेकिन अक्सर लोग ईमान नहीं लाते।
Alif, Lam, Mim, Ra. These are the verses of the book, and what has been revealed to you from your Lord is the truth, but most of the people do not believe.
الله الذي رفع السماوات بغير عمد ترونها ثم استوى على العرش وسخر الشمس والقمر كل يجري لأجل مسمى يدبر الأمر يفصل الآيات لعلكم بلقاء ربكم توقنون।
अल्लाह ही तो है जिसने सुतूनों के बगैर आसमान जैसा कि तुम देखते हो इतने ऊंचे बनाए, फिर अर्श पर जा ठहरा और सूरज और चांद को काम में लगा दिया। हर एक मियाद मुअय्यन तक गर्दिश कर रहा है। वही दुनिया के कामों का इंतजाम करता है। इस तरह वो अपनी आयतें खोल खोल कर बयान करता है ताकि तुम अपने परवरदिगार के रूबरू जाने का यकीन करो।
It is Allah who erected the heavens without pillars that you can see. Then He established Himself above the throne and made subject the sun and the moon, each running its course for a specified term. He arranges each matter. He details the signs that you may, of the meeting with your Lord, be certain.
وهو الذي مد الأرض وجعل فيها رواسي وأنهارا ومن كل الثمرات جعل فيها زوجين اثنين يغشي الليل النهار إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون।
और वही है जिसने जमीन को फैलाया और इसमें पहाड़ और दरिया पैदा किए और हर तरह के मेवों की दो दो किस्में बनाई। वही रात को दिन का लिबास पहनाता है। गौर करने वालों के लिए इसमें बहुत सी निशानियां हैं।
And it is He who spread the earth and placed therein firmly set mountains and rivers, and from all of the fruits He made therein two mates. He causes the night to cover the day. Indeed, in that are signs for a people who give thought.
وفي الأرض قطع متجاورات وجنات من أعناب وزرع ونخيل صنوان وغير صنوان يسقى بماء واحد ونفضل بعضها على بعض في الأكل إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يعقلون।
और जमीन में कई तरह के कतआत हैं, एक दूसरे से मिले हुए, और अंगूर के बाग और खेती और खजूर के दरख्त। बाज की बहुत सी शाखें हैं और बाज की इतनी नहीं होती, बावजूद के पानी सबको एक ही मिलता है। और हम बाज मेवों को बाज पर लज्जत में फजीलत देते हैं, और इसमें समझने वालों के लिए बहुत सी निशानियां हैं।
And within the land are neighboring plots and gardens of grapevines and crops and palm trees, growing several from a root or otherwise, watered with one water. But we make some of them exceed others in quality of fruit. Indeed, in that are signs for a people who reason.
وَإِن تَعْجَبْ فَعَجَبٌ قَوْلُهُمْ أَإِذَا كُنَّا تُرَابًا أَإِنَّا لَفِي خَلْقٍ جَدِيدٍ أُولَئِكَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ وَأُولَئِكَ الْأَغْلَالُ فِي أَعْنَاقِهِمْ وَأُولَئِكَ أَصْحَابُ النَّارِ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ।
अगर तुम अजीब बात सुननी चाहो तो काफिरों का ये कहना अजीब है कि जब हम मरकर मिट्टी हो जाएंगे तो क्या असर नो पैदा होंगे। यही लोग हैं जो अपने परवरदिगार से मुनकिर हुए हैं, और यही हैं जिनकी गर्दनों में तौक होंगे, और यही अहले दोज़ख हैं कि हमेशा उसमें जलते रहेंगे।
And if you are astonished, O Muhammad, then astonishing is their saying, when we are dust, will we indeed be brought into a new creation? Those are the ones who have disbelieved in their Lord, and those will have shackles upon their necks, and those are the companions of the fire, they will abide therein eternally.
وَيَسْتَعْجِلُونَكَ بِالسَّيِّئَةِ قَبْلَ الْحَسَنَةِ وَقَدْ خَلَتْ مِن قَبْلِهِمُ الْمَثُلَاتُ وَإِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَذُو مَغْفِرَةٍ لِلنَّاسِ عَلَى ظُلْمِهِمْ وَإِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَشَدِيدُ الْعِقَابِ।
और ये लोग भलाई से पहले तुमसे बुराई के जल्द खास्तगार यानी तालिब अजाब हैं, हालांकि उनसे पहले अजाब वाक़े हो चुके हैं। और तुम्हारा परवरदिगार लोगों को बावजूद उनकी बेइंसाफियों के मुआफ करने वाला है, और बेशक तुम्हारा परवरदिगार सख्त अजाब देने वाला है।
They impatiently urge you to bring about evil before good, while there has already occurred before them similar punishments to what they demand. And indeed your Lord is full of forgiveness for the people, despite their wrongdoing. And indeed, your Lord is severe in penalty.
وَيَقُولُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَوْلَا أُنزِلَ عَلَيْهِ آيَةٌ مِّن رَّبِّهِ إِنَّمَا أَنتَ مُنذِرٌ وَلِكُلِّ قَوْمٍ هَادٍ।
और काफिर लोग कहते हैं कि इस पैगंबर पर इसके परवरदिगार की तरफ से कोई निशानी नाजिल नहीं हुई। सो ए मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम, तुम तो सिर्फ हिदायत करने वाले हो, और हर एक कौम के लिए रहनुमा हुआ करता है।
And those who disbelieved say, why has a sign not been sent down to him from his Lord? You are only a warner, and for every people is a guide.
الله يعلم ما تحمل كل أنثى وما تغيض الأرحام وما تزداد وكل شيء عنده بمقدار।
अल्लाह ही उस बच्चे से वाकिफ है जो औरत के पेट में होता है, और पेट के सुकड़ने और बढ़ने से भी वाकिफ है, और हर चीज का उसके यहाँ एक अंदाजा मुकर्रर है।
Allah knows what every female carries and what the wombs lose prematurely or exceed, and everything with him is by due measure.
عالم الغيب والشهادة الكبير المتعال।
वो दानाए नेहा व आश्कार है, सबसे बुजुर्ग और आली रुतबा है।
He is knower of the unseen and the witnessed, the grand, the exalted.
سواء منكم من أسر القول ومن جهر به ومن هو مستخف بالليل وسارب بالنهار
कोई तुम में से चुपके से बात कहे या पुकार कर, या रात को कहीं छुप जाए या दिन की रोशनी में खुल्लम खुल्ला चले फिरे, उसके नजदीक बराबर है।
It is the same to him concerning you, whether one conceals his speech or one publicizes it, and whether one is hidden by night or conspicuous among others by day.
له معقبات من بين يديه ومن خلفه يحفظونه من أمر الله إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم وإذا أراد الله بقوم سوءا فلا مرد له وما لهم من دونه من وال
उसके आगे और पीछे अल्लाह के चौकीदार हैं जो अल्लाह के हुक्म से उसकी हिफाजत करते हैं। अल्लाह उस नेमत को जो किसी कौम को हासिल है नहीं बदलता जब तक कि वो अपनी हालत को न बदले, और जब अल्लाह किसी कौम के साथ बुराई का इरादा करता है तो फिर वो फिर नहीं सकती, और अल्लाह के सिवा उनका कोई मददगार नहीं होता।
For each one are successive angels before and behind him who protect him by the decree of Allah. Indeed, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. And when Allah intends for a people ill, there is no repelling it, and there is not for them besides him any patron.
هو الذي يريكم البرق خوفا وطمعا وينشئ السحاب الثقال
और वही तो है जो तुमको डराने और उम्मीद दिलाने के लिए बिजली दिखाता और भारी भारी बादल पैदा करता है।
It is He who shows you lightning, causing fear and aspiration, and generates the heavy clouds.
ويسبح الرعد بحمده والملائكة من خيفته ويرسل الصواعق فيصيب بها من يشاء وهم يجادلون في الله وهو شديد المحال
और रात और फरिश्ते सब उसके खौफ से उसकी तस्बीह और तहमीद करते रहते हैं, और वही बिजलियां भेजता है, फिर जिस पर चाहता है गिरा भी देता है, और वो अल्लाह के बारे में झगड़ते हैं और वो बड़ी कुव्वत वाला है।
And the thunder exalts Allah with praise of Him, and the angels as well from fear of Him, and He sends thunderbolts and strikes therewith whom He wills while they dispute about Allah, and He is severe in assault.
له دعوة الحق والذين يدعون من دونه لا يستجيبون لهم بشيء إلا كباسط كفيه إلى الماء ليبلغ فاه وما هو ببالغه وما دعاء الكافرين إلا في ضلال
सूदमंद पुकारना तो उसी का है, और जिनको ये लोग उसके सिवा पुकारते हैं वो उनकी पुकार को किसी तरह कबूल नहीं करते मगर उस शख्स की तरह जो अपने दोनों हाथ पानी की तरफ फैला दे ताकि दूर ही से उसके मुंह तक आ पहुंचे, हालांकि वो उस तक कभी भी नहीं आ सकता, और इसी तरह काफिरों की पुकार बेकार है।
To Him alone is the supplication of truth, and those they call upon besides Him do not respond to them with a thing, except as one who stretches his hands toward water from afar, calling it to reach his mouth, but it will not reach it thus. And the supplication of the disbelievers is not but in error.
ولله يسجد من في السماوات والأرض طوعا وكرها وظلالهم بالغدو بالغدو والآصال
और जितनी मखलूकात आसमानों और जमीन में है खुशी से या जबरदस्ती से अल्लाह के आगे सजदा करती है और उनके साए भी सुबह शाम सजदे करते हैं।
And to Allah prostrates whoever is within the heavens and the earth, willingly or by compulsion, and their shadows as well in the mornings and the afternoons.
قل من رب السماوات والأرض قل الله قل أفاتخذتم من دونه أولياء لا يملكون لأنفسهم نفعا ولا ضرا قل هل يستوي الأعمى والبصير أم هل تستوي الظلمات والنور أم جعلوا لله شركاء خلقوا كخلقه فتشابه الخلق عليهم قل الله خالق كل شيء وهو الواحد القهار।
उनसे पूछो कि आसमानों और जमीन का परवरदिगार कौन है, तुम ही उनकी तरफ से कह दो कि अल्लाह। फिर उनसे कहो कि तुमने अल्लाह को छोड़कर ऐसे लोगों को क्यों कारसाज बनाया है जो खुद अपने नफे और नुकसान का भी इख्तियार नहीं रखते। ये भी पूछो क्या अंधा और आंखों वाला बराबर हैं या अंधेरा और उजाला बराबर हो सकता है। भला उन लोगों ने जिनको अल्लाह का शरीक मुकर्रर किया है, क्या उन्होंने अल्लाह किसी मखलूक़ात पैदा की है जिसके सबब उनको मखलूक़ात मुश्तबा हो गई है। कह दो कि अल्लाह ही हर चीज का पैदा करने वाला है और वो यकता और जबरदस्त है।
Say, who is Lord of the heavens and earth? Say, Allah. Say, have you then taken besides him allies not possessing even for themselves any benefit or any harm? Say, is the blind equivalent to the seeing, or is darkness equivalent to light? Or have they attributed to Allah partners who created like his creation, so that the creation of each seemed similar to them? Say, Allah is the creator of all things, and he is the one, the prevailing.
أنزل من السماء ماء فسالت أودية بقدرها فاحتمل السيل زبدا رابيا ومما يوقدون عليه في النار ابتغاء حلية أو متاع زبد مثله كذلك يضرب الله الحق والباطل فأما الزبد فيذهب جفاء وأما ما ينفع الناس فيمكث في الأرض كذلك يضرب الله الأمثال।
उसी ने आसमान से मेघ बरसाया, फिर उससे अपने अपने अंदाजे के मुताबिक नाले बह निकले, फिर नाले पर फूला हुआ झाग आ गया, और जिस चीज को जेवर या कोई और सामान बनाने के लिए आग में तपाते हैं उसमें भी ऐसा ही झाग होता है। इस तरह अल्लाह हक और बातिल की मिसाल बयान फरमाता है। सो झाग तो सूख कर जायल हो जाता है और पानी जो लोगों को फायदा पहुंचाता है वो जमीन में ठहरा रहता है। इस तरह अल्लाह सही और गलत की मिसालें बयान फरमाता है ताकि तुम समझो।
He sends down from the sky rain, and valleys flow according to their capacity, and the torrent carries a rising foam, and from that ore which they heat in the fire, desiring adornments and utensils, is a foam like it. Thus Allah presents the example of truth and falsehood. As for the foam, it vanishes, being cast off. But as for that which benefits the people, it remains on the earth. Thus does Allah present examples.
للذين استجابوا لربهم الحسنى والذين لم يستجيبوا له لو أن لهم ما في الأرض جميعا ومثله معه لافتدوا به أولئك لهم سوء الحساب ومأواهم جهنم وبئس المهاد.
जिन लोगों ने अल्लाह के हुक्म को कबूल किया उनकी हालत बहुत बेहतर होगी, और जिन्होंने उसको कबूल न किया, अगर रुए जमीन के सब खजाने उनके इख्तियार में हों तो वो सब के सब और उनके साथ उतने ही और निजात के बदले में सर्फ कर डालें, मगर निजात कहाँ। ऐसे लोगों का हिसाब भी बुरा होगा और उनका ठिकाना भी दोज़ख है, और वो बुरी जगह है.
For those who have responded to their Lord is the best reward. But those who did not respond to him, if they had all that is in the earth entirely and the like of it with it, they would attempt to ransom themselves thereby. Those will have the worst account, and their refuge is hell, and wretched is the resting place.
Alhamdulillah wa kafa wa salatu wa salamu ala ibadihi allazina istafa khususan ala afzalihim wa khatamin nabiyyin Muhammadin al-amin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'du faqad qala Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala kama warada fi surati ar-ra'd. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. अलिफ लाम मीम रा तिल्का आयातुल किताब वल्लज़ी उन्ज़िला इलैका मिर रब्बिकल हक़्क़ु वलाकिन्न अक्सरन नास ला युमिनून अल्लाहुल्लज़ी रफ़अस समावाति बिग़ैरि अमदिन तरौनहा सुम्मा इस्तवा अलल अर्श व सख़्ख़रश शम्स वल क़मर कुल्लुन यजरी लिअजलिन मुसम्मा युदब्बिरुल अम्रु युफ़स्सिलुल आयाति लअल्लकुम बिलिक़ाइ रब्बिकुम तूक़िनून सदक़ल्लाहुल अज़ीम. रब्बि इश्रह ली सदरी व यस्सिर ली अमरी वहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली. अल्लाहुम्मा रब्बना अलहिमना रुश्दना व अइज़ना मिन शुरूरि अनफुसिना. अल्लाहुम्मा अरिनल हक़्क़ हक़्क़न वरज़ुक़ना इत्तिबाअह व अरिनल बातिल बातिलन वरज़ुक़ना इज्तिनाबह. Allahumma waffiqna lima tuhibbu wa tarda. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Dear brothers and sisters and sons and daughters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. With the name of Allah and invoking His help, we are beginning our study of Surah Al-Ra'd. As I have been telling many a times, most of the surahs of the Quran are in pairs. But there are certain surahs which are unique, which are munfarid, and there is no other surah like those. For example, the very first surah of the Quran, Surah Al-Fatiha, is unique. It has no pair. But then Surah Al-Baqarah, Surah Al-Imran, they were a pair. Surah Al-Nisa, Surah Al-Ma'idah, they were a pair. Surah Al-An'am, Surah Al-A'raf, they were a pair. Surah Al-Anfal, Surah Al-Tawbah were a pair. Surah Yunus, Surah Hud were a pair. And then last night we studied Surah Yusuf, it's unique. And I told you that among the 14 surahs of the third group, the group of Makki Madani surahs, the 14 surahs are Makki, starting from Yunus, ending in the 18th part with Surah Al-Mu'minun. These are 14 surahs. But the 12 of these surahs, they can be grouped into 4 subgroups of 3 surahs each. Now in each subgroup, there is one pair and one unique. One pair and one unique. So we had Surah Yunus and Surah Hud alayhim as-salatu was-salam, a pair. Surah Yusuf, unique. Now we have another, the second subsection of 3 surahs. Surah Al-Ra'd and Surah Ibrahim alayhi salatu was-salam, they are a very beautiful example of a pair. But then Surah Al-Hijr, that is a unique surah. It has a style of its own. And rather, if we can reach Surah Al-Hijr tonight, then I shall tell you that it has, actually a very peculiar position in this Mus'haf. So now we start, Now look to these two subgroups. The first subgroup was consisting of a little larger surahs. Surah Yunus, 11 sections. Surah Hud, 10 sections. Surah Yusuf, 12 sections. Now we shall have this smaller group. This group, Surah Ra'd, 6 sections. Surah Ibrahim, 7 sections. Surah Hijr, 6 sections. They are smaller. Then the third subsection will be again, subgroup will be Surah Nahl, 16 sections. Then Surah Bani Israel, Surah Kahf, each having 12 sections. So smaller and a greater. Now out of these, Surah Ra'd and Surah Ibrahim, as I have told you, they are a pair. And you will see. The 43 ayat of Surah Ra'd are divisible in 6 rukus, 6 sections. That is, the average is 7 ayat in 1 ruku. In the same case, 52 ayat of Surah Ibrahim, they are divisible into 7 sections. Again, 7.5, average is 7.5 ayat per section. But look to Hijr. It has 6 sections, but 99 ayat. A very different style, smaller ayat. Because I told you that the surahs which were revealed in the beginning, they were of a different style, smaller ayat. But just like the rivulets in the mountainous area, in the mountainous regions, the rivers are not very wide, but they are very deep. And the flow of water is, very strong currents going on. But when the same rivers come to the fields, to the plains, now they are broad, but they are slow and constant. So that is actually the best simile of the surahs which were revealed earlier. Small ayat, but the flow and the rhythm is very fast. But when you go the later period of the Makki and then the Madani surah, then you will find, the ayat are larger in size. The flow, the rhythm, there is a divine music, all right, but the flow is not so fast. So you will find in Surah Al-Hijr, all the qualities of those surahs which were revealed very early, they are present in Surah Al-Hijr. And this surah actually belongs to the early Meccan period, but it has been included in this group. Although this group, 2 groups of these surahs, they have most of them, the surahs which were revealed in the last 4 years of the Makki period. But this one has been added here. Now, just like Surah Al-An'am and Surah Al-Araf, I told you, in Makki surahs, in one of the group, there will be tazkir bi-ala illah, Allah's creative activity, Allah's signs, Allah's attributes, how He has created, how He is administering this universe, all these ala illah. But in the second member of that group, that pair you will find at-tazkir bi-ayyamillah, the history of messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what happened to big nations, to the people of Hud, and to people of Saleh, and the people of Nuh alayhi salatu wassalam. So this is tazkir bi-ayyamillah, reminding people and admonishing them, referring to the history, referring to the events, great events of their past history, and admonishing people, referring to the creative activity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His signs, that is at-tazkir bi-ala illah. So you will find in Surah Ra'd at-tazkir bi-ala illah. No reference to messengers, no reference to prophets. It's all, the person of Allah, His attributes, and His omnipotence, omniscience, all these things, they are stressed in Surah Ra'd. But again we shall find in Surah Ibrahim reference to the messengers. But the difference would be, we have studied these news of the messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Araf, then again in Surah Hud, but here you will find them collectively. Only Hazrat Ibrahim is mentioned in a little bit detail and naming him, but all Hazrat Nuh, Hazrat Hud, Hazrat Saleh, Hazrat Lut, Hazrat Shuaib, they are not being named there. Only collectively they have been mentioned. So this much should suffice, as an introduction, and now we begin our textual study. Alif Lam Mim Ra. There are two surahs in the Quran which begin with 4 letters. We read Suratul Araf, Alif, Lam, Mim, Sad. All the others which have read up till now, Alif, Lam, Mim, 3 letters. Suratul Baqarah, Alif, Lam, Mim. Suratul Al Imran, Alif, Lam, Mim. Then again, Suratul Yunus, Alif, Lam, Ra, 3 letters. Surah Hud, Alif, Lam, Ra, 3 letters. Surah Yusuf, Alif, Lam, Ra. This is the second surah which starts with 4 letters. Like Alif, Lam, Mim, Sad, Suratul Araf, and Alif, Lam, Mim, Ra, it is Suratul Ra'd. Tilka Ayatul Kitab. These are the signs, these are the ayat, these are the revelations of the book. وَالَّذِي أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ مِنْ رَبِّكَ الْحَقِّ. And what has been revealed to you, what has been sent down to you, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, from your Lord, is truth, the total truth. وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. But most of the people, they don't believe in it. اللَّهُ الَّذِي رَفَعَ السَّمَاوَاتِ بِغَيْرِ عَمَدٍ تَرَوْنَهَا. Now just this one ayah, how profound it is, giving us the creative activity and the control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of all His creation. Allahu alladhi rafa'a as-samawati bighayri 'amadin tarawnaha. Allah is He who has raised high the heavens without any pillars which you can see. No visible pillars. So mastawa 'ala al-arsh. Then He mounted the throne. Wa sakhkhara ash-shamsa wal-qamar. And He subjected the sun and the moon. Kullun yajri li ajalin musamma. All are running their own courses till an appointed term, appointed time. They will not be going on forever. It is ajalun musamma. There is a time which is appointed already. Yudabbirul amr. He manages or ordains all the affairs. He is the creator as well as the controller. Not only a creator, he is the controller. He is the runner of this show. He is the manager of everything. He ordains it. يُفَصِّلُ الْآيَاتِ لَعَلَّكُمْ بِلِقَاءِ رَبِّكُمْ تُوقِنُونَ. He is explaining to you these ayat, maybe so that you may believe in meeting with your Lord. لَعَلَّكُمْ بِلِقَاءِ رَبِّكُمْ تُوقِنُونَ. So that you have belief and faith that you will have to meet your Lord one day. Now what's the relationship? Because you know the doubt which came to the minds of the people about resurrection was, how can it happen? When we shall all decay, our bodies will decay, will become dust like dust, and will be mixed, in the clay. How is it possible that we can be resurrected? We can be created again? Now Allah says, if you believe in that Allah, who created all the heavens and the earth, who is controlling all of the universe, who is controlling the sun and the moon and all the stars and everything, do you believe He cannot create you again? If He could create you for the first time, doing some job for the first time is more difficult. To repeat it is easy. Now you think that it is difficult to repeat your creation. He can create. So all these qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will remove your doubts about resurrection. وَهُوَ الَّذِي مَدَّ الْأَرْضِ. And it is He who spread out the earth. وَجَعَلَ فِيهَا رَوَاسِيَ. And put in it the mountains. وَأَنْهَارًا. And the rivers. وَمِن كُلِّ ثَمَرَاتٍ. And He has, produced all the fruits. وَمِن كُلِّ ثَمَرَاتٍ جَعَلَ فِيهَا زَوْجَيْنِ اثْنَيْنِ. And from all the vegetations, He has made pairs. And today we know, I think when the Quran was being revealed, it was not in the knowledge of humanity that among the plants also, there are sexes. You have the male and the female in each flower, the male and the female. And in the date palm especially, they have separate, flowers, the male flowers and the female flowers. But these things, they have come to be known now universally. Everything, it has sexes, it has pairs. Yughshil layla an-nahar. He makes the night cover the day. Inna fi zalika al-ayatin liqawmin yatafakkarun. Definitely, in these things are signs for those who reflect, who think. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can do all this, Why can't he resurrect you? Why can't he give you another life? وَفِي الْأَرْضِ قِطَعٌ مُتَجَاوِرَاتٌ. And you find in the land, in the earth, there are plots, adjoining tracts. قِطَعٌ مُتَجَاوِرَاتٌ, adjoining tracts. وَجَنَّاتٌ مِنْ عَنَابٍ, there are gardens of grapes. وَزَرْعٌ, and there are the cornfields. وَنَخِيلٌ, and there are the date palms. سِنْوَانٌ وَغَيْرُ سِنْوَانٍ, and these date palms you find clustered also and in single positions also. يُسْقَى بِمَاءٍ وَاحِدٍ, they are all irrigated with the same water. وَنُفَضِّلُ بَعْضَهَا عَلَى بَعْضٍ فِي الْأُكُلِ, and we make superior some of them over the others in the taste. The same tract of land, the same water, it is irrigating them, but the dates of this tree are a different taste, and the dates coming from this tree, they have a different taste. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ. In this there are signs for those people who use their senses, use their intellect. Now this diversity, diversity of His creation, this also is a very big sign of the creative power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not that He can create only one thing or two things or three things, Diversity you find. There's no monotony in the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Diversity of every kind. Now this is the concluding ayah. وَإِن تَعْجَبْ فَعَجَبٌ قَالُهُمْ. Now if you have to wonder, then the wondrous thing is that they are saying, what they are saying, إِذَا كُنَّا تُرَابًا أَإِنَّا لَفِي خَلْقٍ جَدِيدٍ. When we shall be reduced to dust, then we will be resurrected and created anew. This is, this saying of theirs is actually, if you want to wonder, this is wondrous. Because if you see the whole of the universe, one who believes that we will be resurrected, it's nothing. Because if Allah could create everything and He is controlling all the universe, He can create. But actually, if you have to doubt, then you doubt their saying. Their saying is illogical. Whatever they are saying, it's absolutely irrational. Not believing in resurrection, but rejecting the possibility of resurrection, that is illogical. أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ. They are the people who have disbelieved their Lord. When they say there can be no resurrection, what does it mean? They don't believe in the omnipotence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They don't believe that Allah is ala kulli shay'in qadir. So actually they are not rejecting the idea of resurrection. They are rejecting the attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِرَبِّهِمْ وَأُولَٰئِكَ الْأَغْلَالُ فِي عَنَاقِهِمْ. And there are iron chains binding their hands to their necks. وَأُولَٰئِكَ أَصْحَابُ النَّارِ. And they are the people of the fire. هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. And they will dwell in it forever. وَيَسْتَعْجِلُونَكَ بِالسَّيِّئَةِ قَبْلَ الْحَسَنَةِ. Now as I have been reading, many times, they used to say, okay, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, now bring that chastisement. We are fed up of hearing these threats from you. And these people are asking you, O Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to hasten on the evil before the good. قَبْلَ الْحَسَنَةِ وَقَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمُ الْمُرْسَلَاتِ. So many exemplary punishments came to the peoples living in this very peninsula. They know it. What happened to Ad and Samud? They were the people of the same land. وَإِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَذُو مَغْفِرَةٍ لِلنَّاسِ عَلَىٰ ظُلْمِهِمْ. But your Lord is forgiving for the people despite their sins and evil doings. If He is not sending the final judgment, if He is not sending the final chastisement, if He is not showing any physical sign and miracle, it is actually the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He wants to give them more respite. And they, they want that the azab should come and the punishment should come. وَإِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَشَدِيدُ الْعِقَابِ. And verily your Lord is very severe in retribution and punishment. وَيَقُولُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَوْلَا أُنزِلَ عَلَيْهِ آيَةٌ. The same thing. And these people who disbelieve, they say, why has not been any sign, any visible miracle sent on him? مِن رَبِّهِ, from his Lord. إِنَّمَا أَنْتَ مُنذِرٌ وَلِكُلِّ قَوْمٍ هَادٍ. O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you are only a warner. And for every nation we have been sending guides. This is very important that I have told you. This ayah again must be remembered. to every nation. وَلِكُلِّ قَوْمٍ. We have been sending people who guided people to the right way. But only the history of the Arabian Peninsula and the Middle East, that has been repeated in the Quran several times. Because this was known to those people who were the first addressees of the Quran. Otherwise they should have been taught geography and history, and then the names of the other messengers of Allah and other prophets could be given there. Allahu ya'lamu ma tahmilu kullu unsa. Allah very well knows what every female is carrying in her womb. Wa ma taghidul arham wa ma tasdad. And with what their wombs contract and dilate. These wombs of women, they are contracting after they have given birth to the child. They become very small. But as, this fetus is developing in it, they dilate, go on dilating. So Allah knows it. When the womb is contracting, when the womb is dilating. Allahu ya'lamu ma tahmilu kullu unsa wa ma taghidul arham wa ma tasdad wa kullu shay'in indahu bi miqdar. And everything is with Him according to a measure. Everything is measured. It's nothing haphazard which is happening. Neither the contraction of the wombs of the uterus is haphazard, nor its dilatation is haphazard. It's all ordained. It's all physiology. The laws of physiology are governing them. Alimul ghaibi wa shahada. He is the knower of the seen as well as the unseen. Al-Kabirul Muta'al. He is the exalted one. And He is the great, Muta'al and exalted. This Kabir, and we have one of the names of Allah subhanahu, Al-Mutakabbir, Al-Malikul Quddusul Salamul Mu'minul Muhaiminul Azizul Jabbarul Mutakabbir. He is Mutakabbir. Now this word Mutakabbir, it's not used in a good sense for if you say that person is Mutakabbir, it's not in a good sense. But Allah, to Him, it suits, 100% applicable. Al-Mutakabbir. So He is Kabir, He is Muta'al. Sawa'un minkum man asarra al-qawla wa min jahara bihi. It's absolutely equal whether someone of you conceals what he is saying, in very low voice, or he declares it openly. وَمَنْ هُوَ مُسْتَخْفٍ بِاللَّيْلِ وَسَارِبٌ بِالنَّهَارِ. And the one who is hiding during the night, and the one who goes freely by the day. But what does it mean? Everything is in the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لَهُ مُعَقِّبَاتٌ مِّن بَيْنِ يَدَيْهِ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has appointed in succession, in shifts, the attendants. بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِ. Whosoever is going out, he has the guards before him also and behind him also. يَحْفُظُونَهُ مِنْ أَمْرِ اللَّهِ. And they are guarding him from divine command, from the command of Allah. Well, the time of his death has not come as yet. You have to guard him. These bodyguards are with us. Actually, none of us needs any bodyguards. When that appointed time of death comes, no bodyguards can save you. And till that time, that appointed time has not come, nobody can kill you. So it's absolutely useless to have bodyguards. And we read, in Surah Al-An'am, ayat number 61, Yursilu alaykum hafaza. He sends on you the guards, they guard you, they keep guarding you. They don't let you die before that appointed time comes. Inna Allah la yughayyiru ma biqawmin hatta yughayyiru ma bi anfusihim. Now this is a very big and very fundamental principle of sociology. Verily Allah doesn't change the conditions of a nation unless they change the conditions of their souls. If you are good from within, you will have good conditions. If you are yourself bad in intentions and in your souls, then something bad will come to you. If you want to change your conditions, because if you are downtrodden, it is because, something was wrong in your souls. These colonial powers couldn't, rule us unless we were not weak from within. If we had Iman in us, they couldn't capture us and conquer us. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran clearly, Antumul a'launa in kuntum mu'mineen. You will remain supreme and the highest only if you remain mu'min. But when our Iman became weak, well, just as we find, when the resistance goes down, now all the bacteria can have any effect that can attack you. But because of the because your own resistance has gone down, has been lowered. So actually when Iman goes off, then the nation, the community, that becomes downtrodden. So that is it. And now you want that the conditions should change, but you are not thinking of changing yourselves. Unless the condition within you, these change, the conditions which you are experiencing outside, they can never be changed. Inna Allah la yughayyiru ma biqawmin hatta yughayyiru ma bi anfusihim. There is a very beautiful couplet in Urdu. खुदा ने आज तक उस कौम की हालत नहीं बदली, न हो जिसको ख्याल आप अपनी हालत के बदलने का. You have to change yourselves first, then the conditions will be changed. وَإِذَا أَرَادَ اللَّهُ بِقَوْمٍ سُوءًا لَا فَلَا مَرَدَّ لَهُ. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He decides for some community, something bad, some punishment, now there is none who can turn it back. وَمَا لَهُم مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ وَالٍ. And there is none except Allah who can protect them. هُوَ الَّذِي يُرِيكُمُ الْبَرْقَ خَوْفًا وَطَمَعًا. It is He who shows you the lightning with fear as well as hope also. Maybe some rain is coming in our fields, they are dry, so the harvest will be good. But maybe some storm is coming. Whenever there is this, هُوَ الَّذِي يُرِيكُمُ الْبَرْقَ, when there is lightning and thunder, actually He shows you the lightning with fear as well as hope. وَيُنْشِئُ السَّحَابَ الثِّقَالَ. And it is He who brings up the heavy clouds. وَيُسَبِّحُ الرَّعْدُ بِحَمْدِهِ. And this thunderbolt, this actually glorifies Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with His praise. وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ مِنْ خِيفَتِهِ. And all the angels also, out of awe of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they also glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with His praise. وَيُرْسِلُ الصَّوَاعِقَ. And He sends the thunderbolts. فَيُصِيبُ بِهَا مَنْ يَشَاءُ وَيُجَادِلُونَ فِي اللَّهِ. And then He inflicts with that thunderbolt and lightning anyone whom He likes. وَهُمْ يُجَادِلُونَ فِي اللَّهِ. And they are disputing and arguing about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَهُوَ شَدِيدُ الْمِحَالِ. And He is severe in punishment. لَهُ دَعْوَةُ الْحَقِّ. Now these words can be interpreted in two ways. لَهُ دَعْوَةُ الْحَقِّ. For Him is the true prayer, the effective prayer. If you are praying Him, actually your prayers will be heard. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the power to grant them. But if you are praying to anybody else, all your prayers are going in vain. Nobody to answer. Nobody has the power to accept and deliver you from the difficulties in which you are praying Allah. And secondly, all that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling you for is the truth. Because we have read, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَاللَّهُ يَدْعُو إِلَىٰ دَارِ السَّلَامِ. He also calls people إِلَىٰ دَارِ السَّلَامِ, to the house, towards the house of peace. لَهُ دَعْوَةُ الْحَقِّ وَالَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِهِ لَا يَسْتَجِيبُونَ لَهُمْ بِشَيْءٍ. And as for those deities whom they are praying and calling, leaving Him aside, they are not actually, they cannot answer their calls, they cannot accept their prayers. إِلَّا كَبَاسِطٍ كَفَّيْهِ إِلَى الْمَاءِ. And their similitude is to a person who stretches out his hands for water. Now just imagine if there is a deep well, there is water in it, and you want to stretch your hand to get the water, لِيَبْلُغَ فَاهُ, so that this water should reach his mouth. وَمَا هُوَ بِبَالِغِهِ. But actually the hand cannot reach that water, and that water cannot reach the mouth. وَمَا دُعَاءُ الْكَافِرِينَ إِلَّا فِي ضَلَالٍ. All the prayers of these unbelievers and disbelievers go in vain. They are just lost, because nobody is there to accept these prayers and to answer these prayers. وَلِلَّهِ يَسْجُدُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ طَوْعًا وَكَرْهًا. And to Allah prostrates everything which is in the heavens and which is in the earth, willingly or unwillingly. Not only all these things, even their shades and their shadows, they also, وَزِلَالُهُمْ بِالْغُدُوِّ وَالْآصَالِ. In the morning and the evening. So it's a very beautiful word picture. There is a tree standing. What happens when the sun rises on the east? You find that there is a shadow, very long shadow, lying down on the ground. Now as the sun is going up, this shadow is contracting towards that tree, as if it is coming up. And when it is noon, it is up, no shadow. Then now again, when the sun goes to the west, again a shadow. And it is becoming longer and longer and longer, as if now it is prostrating to the east. So actually the shadows are also making sajda to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the morning, they were making sajda towards the west. In the evenings, they are making sajda towards the east. Now this is ayatul sajda. We have also to prostrate. قُلْ مَنْ رَبُّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Ask them, who is the Lord of the heavens and the earth? قُلِ اللَّهِ. And you yourself tell them, Allah. قُلْ أَفَاتَّخَذْتُم مِّن دُونِهِ أَوْلِيَاءَ. Now if He is the Lord of all the heavens and the earth, how does it come? How come you have taken besides Him protectors? لَا يَمْلِكُونَ لِأَنفُسِهِمْ نَفْعًا وَلَا ضَرًّا. You have taken them as your protectors, although they don't have the power for even themselves, for anything beneficial or for anything which is harmful. قُلْ هَلْ يَسْتَوِي الْأَعْمَى وَالْبَصِيرُ. Ask them, can the blind and the seeing people be equal? أَمْ هَلْ تَسْتَوِي الظُّلُمَاتُ وَالنُّورُ. Or can the light and the darknesses be equal? أَمْ جَعَلُوا لِلَّهِ شُرَكَاءَ خَلَقُوا كَخَلْقِهِ فَتَشَابَهَ الْخَلْقُ عَلَيْهِمْ. Have they accepted with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala associates who have created something? And now, because they have also created something like the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, now they are confused regarding the creation. Which is the creation of Allah and which is the creation of anybody else? But because I told you many a times that these people, these kuffar and mushrikeen of Arabia, they believed that the creation all belongs to Allah. They will say, لَيَقُولُنَّ اللَّهِ. If you ask them, who created all the heaven and the earth? They will certainly say Allah. فَأَنَّىٰ تُؤْفَكُونَ. So actually what they believed was that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the all-powerful Allah, He is one, He is alone, and He created all the universe. But there are smaller gods and goddesses. They can be of help to us in the hereafter, on the day of judgment. They will intercede for us. And they can take us closer and closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they wanted to please them also, to offer them some sacrifices also. That was the shirk. Otherwise they didn't think that Allah has created half of the world and the rest of the half of this universe has been created by anybody else. No. وَلِلَّهُ خَالِقُ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. Tell them, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allah is the creator of everything. وَهُوَ الْوَاحِدُ الْقَهَّارُ. And He is the one, the omnipotent, the irresistible. أَنزَلَ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً. Now you are seeing all these attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His creative activity, how He is running this universe, all these signs, ala illah, they have been discussed here. أَنزَلَ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً فَسَالَتْ أَوْدِيَةٌ بِقَدَرِهَا. He sent down water from the heaven, and now the wadis flow, wadis and valleys, in these mountainous regions, because there's a mountain on this side, mountain on this side, now there's going to be rain, now all rain going to the down to the valleys. Now these valleys become rivers. They are not rivers permanently, but when there is rain, all these wadis, all these valleys become rivers. فَسَالَتْ أَوْدِيَةٌ بِقَدَرِهَا. Every wadi, every valley has a catchment area. So the greater catchment area, the torrent is more strong, more deep. If the catchment area is small, بِقَدَرِهَا, every has its own, size. فَاحْتَمَلَ السَّيْلُ زَبَدَ الرَّابِيَةِ. And the torrent carries over it a swelling scum. There is a scum, over the water. وَمِمَّا يُوقِدُونَ عَلَيْهِ فِي النَّارِ ابْتِغَاءَ حِلْيَةٍ أَوْ مَتَاعٍ زَبَدٌ مِثْلُهُ. And from that over which they kindle a fire seeking to make ornaments or wear rises scum. When the goldsmith, he is, kindles fire over gold and to purify it, then you find, that over that gold there is a scum also. But now what happens to this scum? كَذَلِكَ يَضْرِبُ اللَّهُ الْحَقَّ وَالْبَاطِلَ. This has been interpreted in two ways. In this way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala strikes the similitude of the truth and the falsehood. The scum over the surface of the water is nothing. It's just visible, but it has no value. Really, water is underneath the scum. In the same way, the scum which has risen when you are cleaning the silver or the gold, it is nothing. Actually, the silver or the gold is lying below. This is the example. Although you know this batil, this falsehood appears, and it appears very awful. It has no reality. The reality is something which is hiding behind it or beneath it. But the other, the interpretation is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He strikes this batil with haqq. And we have, another example of this phenomenon in Surah Al-Anbiya, ayah number 18. بَلْ نَقْذِفُ بِالْحَقِّ عَلَى الْبَاطِلِ فَيَدْمَغُهُ فَإِذَا هُوَ زَاهِقٌ. We strike the falsehood with reality. There is a striking. بَلْ نَقْذِفُ بِالْحَقِّ عَلَى الْبَاطِلِ فَيَدْمَغُهُ. And this haqq, the truth, it breaks the bones of head bones, skull of batil. So there has been going on a struggle between haqq and batil. Many a times, haqq came, ja'al haqq wa zahaq al batil. Muhammad came sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and the haqq, it was struck against batil, and the batil, it went off. But naqzifu bil haqqi al batil, fayadmaghuhu fa idha huwa zahiq. It goes. Again batil appears, gathers his strength and comes. Then you need that people who uphold truth and reality, they should come up and they should strike again against this batil. So this goes on. And now let me tell you that this ayah, that there is scum over the torrent, there is scum over the ways of the goldsmith and so on, but this scum goes. It dries away. It has nothing to do. فَأَمَّا الزَّبَدُ فَيَذْهَبُ جُفَاءً. All this scum goes away. It doesn't exist. It dries up. وَأَمَّا مَا يَنْفَعُ النَّاسَ فَيَمْكُسُ فِي الْأَرْضِ. And as for that thing which is beneficial to the mankind, that remains in the earth. Water was beneficial, the scum was not beneficial. Scum goes off. Water was beneficial. It is absorbed in the land, and then it gives, vegetation. كَذَلِكَ يَضْرِبُ اللَّهُ الْأَمْثَالَ. In this way, Allah strikes the similitudes. Now, in this ayah, we find, a slight reflection of the dialectical process. Just as we have been finding, and this part of the dialectical materialism, the philosophy of Marx, is correct. These philosophies, they are not totally false. There is element of truth in them. Now we see that there is some thesis. It creates an antithesis from its very womb and its bosom. Then there is a striking between the two. And then the result is a synthesis. So whatever is beneficial to humanity, it remains. Whatever is not beneficial, it goes off. But again, because it is actually the creation of human mind, it's not complete. There remains something, some flaw remains over there. And this gives birth to another antithesis. Now the synthesis becomes thesis, and it gives birth to another antithesis. Then there is again a striking between the two, a collision between the two, and then again a synthesis comes up. So actually, the material world is definitely progressing in this fashion. There's no doubt about it. We can see there was monarchy, kingship, aristocracy, feudalism. From its womb or from its bosom, democracy was born. Now there was a struggle between the two, and that was manifested by the French Revolution. But what happened? This democracy was also, it had flaws in it, because it gave birth to capitalism. Now humanity was saved from the tyranny of the kings, emperors and feudals, but now the capitalists, that became powerful, and the rest of the people, they were reduced to the position of laborers. Now this again is strife. Now it becomes a thesis, and then it gave birth to antithesis of communism. There was a struggle and strife between the two. And out of this strife came out socialism. And this socialism of Scandinavian type, in which there is democracy also, and there is, the rights of the laborers are also secure. So this process is going on. And why it is going on? Because matter is incomplete. If you look to materialism only, if you take to materialism, this process will go on. It will not take you to perfection. It is only the divine light and the divine guidance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given through His revelations. That can give you a totally perfect system, balanced system, politically, economically, socially. It can be a just social order from every respect. Those who respond to their Lord, for them is the fairest reward, al-husna. وَالَّذِينَ لَمْ يَسْتَجِيبُوا لَهُ, and those who don't respond to Him, لَوْ أَنَّ لَهُمْ مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا وَمِثْلَهُ مَعَهُ لَافْتَدَوْا بِهِ. If they had possessed all the wealth of this world, and another, twofold of all the wealth of the world they had possessed, they would be ready to give it to ransom themselves. أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمْ سُوءُ الْحِسَابِ. For them there will be the evil reckoning. وَمَأْوَاهُمْ جَهَنَّمُ وَبِئْسَ الْمِهَادُ. And their abode is going to be the hell. And it is a very bad resting place.
My name is Miriam Sharif. I am from Ireland and a physical therapist by profession. Alhamdulillah, I got a chance to accept Islam. But my question is, my father never got the chance, and shirk is the biggest sin, and I want to know if there is a specific dua or something I can read on his name so that his sin will be forgiven.
Sister asked the question that Alhamdulillah, she has accepted Islam, and she says that unfortunately her father, he died as a mushrik. So can I read any dua, anything in his name so that sin can be forgiven? Sister, the Quran says in Surah Nisa chapter number 4 verse number 48, Surah Nisa chapter number 4 verse number 116, that if Allah pleases, He may forgive any sin. But the sin of shirk, He will never forgive. Because a person who has done shirk has committed the most heinous sin. So if the person is doing shirk and before he dies, if he repents, inshallah Allah will forgive. But if he dies as a mushrik, he is destined for hell. There is no other option. And this is also narrated in the Quran. When Ibrahim alayhi salam, Prophet Ibrahim, when he prays for his father, who was a mushrik, then a verse was revealed that when the person is alive, you can ask Allah to give hidayah to your parents, to your father, to your mother, to your brother. May Allah guide them to the straight path. But if they die as a mushrik, and if you know they die as a mushrik, you cannot pray for them. You can only pray that, oh my God, oh my Lord Allah, make from my offsprings Muslims who will submit their will to Allah. And this is the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam. His father also was a mushrik. But he does a dua in Surah Ibrahim, chapter number 14, the last few verses. He prays that make my offsprings those who would submit their will to Allah, who will be Muslims. And we find that both his children, Ishmael alayhi salam and